Oh, birthday. It is Nathan's birthday and 42 so long. And we're going to sing a song. It's birthday. It is Nathan's birthday. So we say so long. And it's time to sing a song. Welcome to tonight's stream. I'm feeling extra loopy today. This is our third live broadcast for like the live reviews that we've been doing. We'll be going back to some shorter ones, the quick and dirty cell phone video ones soon enough. I do like doing the live ones because there's no editing involved, and it's just, it's pump and dump, baby, and that's what I'm all about. Pumping and dumping. That's what I do. That's my business. But tonight's movie is brought to us by Genre Blast CEO Nathan Ludwig, because I was not going to watch this. Actually, I was not going to watch this movie. I was super apprehensive. I was like, I'm not into found footage. Blah blah blah. I'll get into it when I pull Nathan on here. But I people kept posting about it and how great it was. And then I saw Nathan post about it. And I couldn't believe the things that Nathan was saying about this Shudder exclusive. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna fuck with this. And I'm really glad that I did. And Nathan was like, let's do a live show about it. I was like, damn straight, let's do it. Great. Another movie knockdown. So here we are. Let's bring Nathan out of the digital green room to say hello. Hey yo.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing, Nate?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, me too.
What else can I say?
Nothing. There's nothing.
It's
Shocktober.
Another year older. Rocktober here.
Oh, that's a perfect part of my birthday song. My birthday. It is Nathan's birthday. Another year so long. Wait, another year older. So we're gonna give the shoulder. No, I don't know. That doesn't fit, Nate. Forget it. Never mind.
We'll workshop
that lyric. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Nathan knows I'm an enthusiast for impromptu song smithing.
Yeah, I love it.
It's just the way of the world. Before we dive into the review, Nathan is the festival director of Genre Blast right here. He's been on the show a bunch of times. You know him well. He's also an author. He's got a book, Love Potion 666. Go pick it up. Check it out. He's got some other books coming out. He's got things coming out. He's got anthology books, anthology movies. Worst Laid Plans is having its world premiere at the New York Horror Film Festival.
Yeah, Worst Laid Plans is having its official world premiere at the New York City Horror Film Festival in Chelsea. So super excited about that. Hope we'll get to hang out that weekend, Jeff.
I plan to be there for sure. That is a great theater, and that is a great festival, and it's right down the street from the Chelsea Hotel. And if anybody knows New York history, the Chelsea Hotel is historic. They also do a really good hot Rocky horror. At least they used to do a really good midnight Rocky horror thing over on the Chelsea on 23rd Avenue. No, not 23rd Avenue. Was it 23rd? Yeah, 23rd Avenue. That's right. 23rd Street. 23rd Avenue. What am I, crazy? It's 23rd Street. So Deadstream. Are you a found footage guy? Are you a found footage guy?
I fucking love found footage horror movies. Some people are obsessed with like slasher movies and they'll watch anything. I'm the same way with found footage horror movies. I love the premise. I love the setup. I love the bad ones. I'm into it. I feel like it feels like it's a video game that you don't have to play, which as you get older, it's nice. I don't have to do anything. I just sit here and watch. Some of the best ones in the genre, man, it just captures my imagination. I find that stuff to be really creepy. I find that stuff to be scary. So I'm into it. I'm always seeking out found footage movies. I watch them as soon as they're available. So wow. I was really looking forward to Deadstream. when Shudder was announced it and described it. I was like, I'm there. And I was not expecting it to be as funny as it was, because I didn't really look into it past the description. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is a horror comedy. This is not just a horror film. And it was funny. It wasn't belabored. It wasn't forced. It was the central performance, man. So good.
He carries that. This dude carries that movie, man. I will qualify real quick on found footage in that I am not a found footage guy at all. There are some found footage, like what was that one with the witch house? Not the Blair Witch. I'm talking about the one they found. No, it's there's like the eyeball painting, and oh man, it came out very recently, and there's a film crew following the within these it's not they're watching us. I think it's called They're Watching Us.
Oh, I actually haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, check that out.
That was more of a comedy too, wasn't it?
That was an exceptional. I might be coming in really flash framey, guys. I can't help that. There are exceptions for me for found footage, but generally that is a genre, much like exorcisms and ghost things. I'm just not my cup of tea. It's not my yum. It's more of a yuck. However, I will check out the occasional found footage. The funny thing is, even though I don't really care for found footage, I'm always attracted to trying and make a found footage, because I feel like, if you could find the right idea, it would be really easy for a filmmaker to make one, and they're popular. But, I don't enjoy watching.
I had a couple ideas for found footage, but they're hard to pull off, man. They're really hard. The good ones are hard to pull off and make them convincing. Like,
that's what it is. It's not that the shooting is easy. It's the premise and the reason for keeping the camera on.
Yes.
Like, why is the camera still on? And
it's kind of just like for me, I'm not a huge fan of slasher films unless it brings something new to the table, or it's got a meta thing going on. Mm-hmm. I just not interested. Slasher movies bore me. They're just the same shit over and over again. So that brutal kind of slasher torture stuff, just doesn't interest me. So I like more the supernatural, weird, abstract, crazy, bizarre, creepy stuff. I'm into all that stuff. Like I like a lot of Asian horror. Love it. I love found footage horror. So when you combine the two, it's pretty creepy usually, at least for me.
But what we got here, and we're going to spoil the shit out of this. So if you plan on watching this movie, do not pause this and then come back. First of all, Nathan noted that, the lead, he carries this whole movie in the best way possible. We get so the number, if I had to bottom line this movie, I would say it's a found footage Evil Dead 2, right? Like that's where,
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. It is found footage Evil Dead 2. Main guy is basically like an Ash surrogate. What really pulled me into this movie was the whole YouTuber setup, which, I'm a YouTuber, and I like all the stuff that they were lampooning was so relatable and funny, and it was cutting, it was sort of cutting edge. Like, this is literally what is going on right now. So I thought that's what hooked me in, and I was like, okay, this I'll rock this. And then once we get into the horror of it all and the slapstick, I was just like, this is tremendous. So
the attention to detail with the live stream, because he's live streaming the entire time when he gets to the house, right? And the comments, you could just literally watch the little comment section the entire time, and there's a lot of detail put into those comments. That was a lot of work. I want to ask the filmmakers how long it took to do all that, because that was very detailed, and it was a very funny lampoon, like you said, of YouTube comments, where it's just like, this is boring, get to the blood, this is fake, this is all this stuff that would absolutely happen if you're
acne on your face,
you're ugly, like, people are terrible people. So, and it kind of explores that relationship between streamer and audience, and it's like a parasitic relationship, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you know, it's is it good for either side? Should you even read the comments, you know? And by the way, I want to say, Jeff, because you're too nice to say this, if you've got a problem with Jeff Frumess and you're saying nasty shit in the comments about Jeff, you can go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Jeff is a great guy. You're a piece of shit. Fuck you.
I deal with crazy YouTube comments a lot, and yeah, it's crazy out there. People say really not very nice things. I mean, I would never. I mean, you know, you hide behind the anonymity of the internet. It really is. You know what it is? It's invisible man syndrome. When Kevin Bacon goes crazy for being invisible. Are you okay?
Did something fall down? I think something fell behind me, so it's all right. It's a bunch of
okay. You know what's funny though? Your frame froze, and then I heard a crash. So what went through my head was, did Nathan just fall backwards out of his chair? Like, like
this
maybe
room is like filled with junk. So it's just I rearranged my office.
Treasure.
I don't know.
Some looks nice, but it looks nice.
Yeah, you can't see the floor. That's the problem.
It's good that we can't. You never want to see the floor. You don't want to see the floor in here. Trust me. But the people say crazy shit in YouTube comments, and like part of the we've had, this is not the first thing like to be like a streaming thing, and part of what will make or break your streaming movie or whatever is the realism of the interface of that whole trip. And I want to shout out Sean Q King, filmmaker. He had a short called Like Me, and the social media overlays were very detailed, like in Deadstream. And I was like, dude, it's you asked that question, you wanted to know more about it. I asked him, and he's like, I had a guy who like was dedicated to just these comments. It's writing. It's straight up. You are literally writing, and you're writing for the movie. It's like production design. It's writing. There's so much that goes into that. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really is crazy. It's the amount of work that goes into something like that is, people don't take that into account. Sometimes they take it for granted, for sure.
Yeah.
Just trying to do like when Genre Blast does, it's like awards, like our awards nominations or announcing films. Like, if I don't have anybody to look at the comments, it's like, it's crazy. It drives me nuts. I got to be able to respond to the comments and do the announcement at the same time. So yeah, it's a lot of work.
You need a content runner, someone on comments. I say content comments alone, especially when I'm typing away, and leave 1,000 comments because, you want to support the stream and whatnot. What's the setup? So what's the setup here? Explain the brilliance of the framing of, going back to having a really strong reason. This is not, the first act is written so well and gives us such a strong reason for the rest of the movie that, like, it's just tremendous. What do you think about that? Or can you comment a bit about that?
Yeah, well, the basic premise, if you haven't seen it, is that this guy, he's a YouTube live streamer who does a bunch of goofy stunts and pranks. Some of them, a little dangerous, some of them a little tasteless. And apparently you find it's revealed a little bit more along the way during the movie, which was done very well, that he was suspended and he was demonetized because of a stunt that went too far. And you don't find out what it is right away, but over the course of the movie, more is revealed. But he's kind of back from his suspension, and he's trying to get monetized again. So he's going to go to this haunted house and live stream from the haunted house all night. And one of his rules is that if something creepy happens in the house, he has to go investigate, no matter what, no matter how creepy it is. And he's got to stay there all night. And he can't swear because he'll be demonetized. He can't do anything lewd, but he's got to stay there the whole night. So that's kind of the setup. He gets to this really old, rundown, creepy house. He's setting up GoPro cams, which is one of the running gags of the film, which is really funny.
Oh, yeah. The naming of the cams.
Yes. And it goes from there. It gets really weird and creepy, and the setup is great. I mean, I don't know how much you want to spoil
the shit out of it. Go ahead, do it.
This is a 2-person film. It's him And then there's this girl that shows up out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, is there somebody else in this movie? And then I'm like, oh, this is probably the demon.
I predicted that as soon as
out,
I saw her, I called it. I had a feeling.
And she does a great job by being. She's creepy just by doing nothing.
Yeah,
she was so good. And yeah, it turns out this girl who poses as a fan was like, oh, I want to do the thing with you. And then he's like, wait a minute, how did you even know I was here? You showed up really fast. It turns out, yeah, it's the demon fucking with him. And the whole movie is basically him matching wits with this demon who's fucking with him back. And there's some really funny gags in this movie. Whenever the demon gets him and knocks him to the ground, she likes to stick her finger up his nose.
Yeah, what was that? I was trying to figure out where, like, if that was a weird running joke, like why?
I think it was just a funny Evil Dead kind of gag.
Yeah, when it first happened, I was like pure Evil Dead, which is great.
And make no mistake, the demon is scary. Like, she's not messing around, but like there's these moments of comedy that are interjected that are very Evil Dead 2, Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi kind of style humor that kind of eases the tension, but then it goes right back to another scare.
It rides the line so well.
It rides the line, and I love that tone. It's very hard to pull off sometimes.
Yeah,
but it feels like a crazy jacked up haunted house where if you were in it, you'd have the shit scared out of you. Like, there's some really great creature monster designs and makeup and masks and everything. It's done really well. It's a spook show. It's a horror show on acid, on steroids, basically. And it doesn't stop. As soon as he gets to the house, it just nonstop for like 70 minutes. It's so much fun.
So I would say, all right, here's my film equation. I used to do these all the time on Facebook, and I don't know why I stopped. Here's my film equation. Ready? It is Evil Dead plus found footage, Evil Dead 2 plus found footage times Spookies. Because I just watched Spookies, and there's that has that same, haunted house vibe with like different creatures and different parts of the house, that sort of thing. So I'd say there's a little bit of Spookies in there too. And then we get these interjected videos. It's like it's being presented to us as one, as I think Nathan said already, it's one long live feed, right? It's just, we're watching the feed. Like, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the actual show
stream. Yeah,
we're seeing the stream, which is also a brilliant sort of framing device that, has actually crossed my mind in the past, being a live streaming YouTuber. I was, Bob Rose will attest to this. I was chatting with Bob, and I was like, what would be a really brilliant thing to do would be to start off a live stream, just like the way Nathan and I are talking, and then 15 minutes in, have it like stuff start to happen, and literally do a live performance, like one take movie streaming live on YouTube. So it's not exactly that, but it's similar. It's a similar concept. And I just think the way that they executed it, great. It was really, really well.
It was. I think Bob would love this movie. Has he seen it yet? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm definitely going to ask him if he's seen it. He would absolutely. This is so up Bob's alley.
This is a very Bob movie. Yes,
very, very Bob Rose movie. So
did you like the Ghost Dad reference? He's like, I haven't watched a horror movie since the first half. Ghost Dad.
This dude was so goofy and funny, and just like completely carried the movie. And even when he's scared out of his wits, he's still like. He still has his humorous sensibilities. Like, I'm using a Slim Jim as a tripod stick, so I have to call it the meat cam. Like,
the meat cam, yeah.
It's just great.
He gets the better of the demon at one point and hits her in the head with a hatchet or a cleaver,
right?
And it's like stuck right in her forehead. And so he puts a GoPro camera on her forehead and labels it. Her name, the demon's name is Mildred.
Right.
So he names the cam. He puts the GoPro camera on her and labels it Mildred Cam.
Right. Well, at first it was Mildred, and then he was like, "No, I could do better."
And then it goes Mildred.
Yeah, he could go. I could do one better.
When it cuts to her moving around with the camera, you can just see her moving around, and you can see part of the cleaver coming down from the camera. Just
and
it's not overt, but it's those subtle touches that when you're thinking about it make me laugh, because it's not going over the top with the vomit or the piss or the gore. There's not gouts of blood going all over the place, but it's just mean-spirited and funny enough where I'm just like, okay, I get it. This is really funny. This is a good gag.
We got Paul in the comments. Shout out to Paul.
Oh, what's up, Paul Grammatico?
How you doing, buddy?
He's a good dude.
Oh yeah, friggin' awesome dude. Who's into really cool stuff like us. Ron is here. Hello, Ron. Good to see you. Yeah, man. Yeah, all that stuff and more. It's just really great. And you know, they like usually when it's like a one-person movie, it's like you better keep things moving. You better keep things going. And what really helps, what really leverages the movie in the same way that like when I'm doing a podcast by myself, having the comments from the audience allows you to keep going even if no one is there. And so that carries the movie when he's interacting in the comments. And then we get these YouTube videos that pop up and give us a little bit of exposition. You know, these random characters that watch the live stream are like, actually, that's a Hamza and it's used to ward off evil and like blah, 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 you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that helps. And of course, the most blatant, obvious, what's it called? Influence of all, besides Evil Dead 2, it's Evil Dead 2 meets House, right?
Yes, I was going to say that. House. I picked up on the House vibe.
Oh my God. I mean, there is so much House in this. And the way the movie sort of, the movie gets gross too. I mean, it really does. There's a lot of, for a movie that's supposed to be about like a ghost demon, there is a lot of like grossness, a lot of pus.
There is. The bathwater stuff was gross.
Yeah.
And, him pulling one of her nails out of his nose was pretty gross.
Yeah, totally gross. And, you know, all of this gross stuff, you know, has like, you know, there are fluids attached and fluids are sticky. And you know what else is sticky?
RiotStickers.com.
Riot stickers are sticky. Okay. Riot stickers are our sponsor. Check them out. Riot stickers. Here's the thing about Riot stickers. These are vinyl stickers. They're waterproof. And you know what Riot Stickers does to their stickers? They don't just make them vinyl to make them waterproof. They also put a UV coating on them so that when they're out in the sun, they don't run. You know what I'm saying? They shine through and through. You can't beat that. And right now, Sharpie Riot of RiotStickers.com, I think he's lost his mind. Okay, he's lost his mind. You know why he's lost his mind, Nathan? Because he decided that he's going to do an insane promotion through the Frumess channel. You can only do this through the Frumess channel via a link. We don't have a promo code. We used to have the Frumess promo code. Now it's just a link. You go to riotstickers.com/Frumess and you're going to get 1,000 3-inch by 3-inch stickers for $79. That's a hell of a deal. That's a hell of a deal. That's 7 cents per sticker. Okay. That's the amount of space. I had to, these are 2.5 by 3. This is about 3 by 3 right here. So this is all the real estate you have to put your logo, your brand, and you're going to get for 7 cents. So $79 for 1,000 stickers. Like I said, link is in the description below, along with the link tree for, no, not link tree. You got to get a link tree, man. Yeah. You got too many links. You got to get a link tree, Nathan, get on that. We have all of Nathan's links in the description below. But yeah, so check out riotstickers.com/Frumess for this special promotion. Only place. If you go to Riot Stickers, just the website, you're not going to find the promo deal. You got to do it through my link. It's the only way you're going to get it. And real quick, let's watch the 60-second video.
Hi, I'm a guy from riotstickers.com.
Shit, that was the wrong video.
Posters and promo cards, there's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads, we can print on shirts, we can print on hats, we can print on pants.
So let me ask you this, Nathan. What are your top 5 found footage films?
Oh boy. Well, I don't really.
I don't have a
Gosh.
list. I'm just asking.
I don't
Nick, I'm
like.
curious.
I don't like including Blair Witch Project because
Doesn't count.
everybody knows about
Yeah.
that, and it's the most famous one. And I love the Blair Witch Project. It's a great
Yeah, me
film.
too.
But like, I feel like that's cheating if you put it on the list because everybody knows about
Yep.
it. Everybody's talked about it. So excluding the Blair Witch Project, I would have to say, Taking of Deborah Logan, Paul, is a very good one. It's very creepy.
Also, that's a good thing. As if Ash had a YouTube following. That was good, Paul. Sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, it's Ash had a YouTube following. It's a good idea. Yeah. Borderlands, aka Final Prayer, is fantastic.
Is that Films After
If you've
Midnight?
seen it was. I don't know if it was like one of those bloody disgusting
After Dark.
movies or After Dark. One of them. It's not the one with Sean Astin where it's like they're on the border and there's like demons and stuff. This is a British film. It's a UK film. It's these paranormal guys are investigating a church that's really haunted by a demonic presence, and they delve deeper into it and they find out, like, I'm not going to give away the reveal. It's super clever and really messed up. But if you go check out Borderlands, aka Final Prayer, I think it's known as Final Prayer here, but it's also called Borderlands. That's how I saw it. It is one of the best found footage films. Watch that. That's in my top 5. Another one that's really good is Yellow Brick Road. If anyone's ever seen Yellow Brick Road, I think that was Bloody Disgusting Selects.
Yes.
Where these people are investigating this weird phenomenon of this road that leads through this weird trail. And people that follow it, like, they hear this weird music and then they like die. They kill themselves. So this group of investigators, they have their cameras and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and weird shit starts to happen, and it's very creepy. I like ambiguous endings and I like ambiguous explanations to things. I don't like to have everything explained to me. So when there's like the big exposition dump in a movie, I usually tune out because I don't want to hear all that stuff. I think it's really scary when not everything is explained. And Yellow Brick Road absolutely does not explain everything. So if you're one of those people that has to have everything explained to you by the end of the movie, you probably won't like it. But if you like really creepy stuff, you'll like Yellow Brick Road. And Paul is on it. He just mentioned Lake Mungo. Lake Mungo is probably my favorite besides Blair Witch Project. That movie is so sad and so creepy. And it's more like a mockumentary than a found footage film, but I think that it counts. And it's Australian, and it's got kind of a cult following, and it's about this family who's trying to figure out like the death of their daughter and all the grief and trauma surrounding it, and they're trying to it's like a mystery. It unfolds like layers, and you're figuring out what happened to her, why she died, did she kill herself, did she drown? Nobody really knows. And maybe she's haunting the house, and there's this footage that exists of what really happened to her. It is super creepy and super sad too, like very sad. And I just had another one in my head that just left. The Poughkeepsie Tapes. If you really like the Poughkeepsie Tapes, you'll like Lake Mungo. It's kind of the same mockumentary. And have you seen the Poughkeepsie Tapes, Jeff?
I have not seen any one of these movies that you've mentioned, because I told you
you're not a fan of found footage, but you could.
Fan.
Do you like mockumentaries?
I do like mockumentaries. Do they count as found footage? Because I had a couple of things I was gonna notate, but not anything like a top.
I kind of bunch them together. Anything that's tried to make it look like it's real in documentary form or found footage.
Okay, then I have one. I have a movie for you.
But Poughkeepsie Tapes, super creepy. It's about a serial killer. Some of the official talking heads, like the FBI people, are come across as a little fake because this is early on in the whole mockumentary thing. But
2004, right?
The footage of the killer is very scary. Yes, absolutely. It's good stuff. Which one did you have? That's kind of that's 5 for me right there. I think I go on and on.
Okay, there is a really great, very I don't know if it's obscure, but it's not. No one ever talks about this movie. It has a great little hook in it. It's from 2007. It's called American Zombie, and it is a
Really?
mockumentary. If you haven't seen it, I'm really mad that you haven't seen it because I really want to talk about what
I'm gonna
happens
have
in
to
it.
watch it now.
Now I can't say the thing that I wanted to say because I refuse to spoil this.
Let me
Damn
look
you.
it up. Maybe I've
Damn
seen
you.
so many movies
All right. Well,
that I might have
please.
forgotten that I even watched it.
I hope not. Hey, what's up, Aaron? How are you? Pinstripe says, hi, Pinstripe. How are you? Pinstripe says, taking up Deborah Logan is great. Yeah, just that scene at the end with like the snake mouth is absolutely terrifying. Oh, I have one that would, okay. Actually, I have another one. And this one I know you've seen, I think.
There's another one called the Banshee Chapter, which has to do with like MK Ultra stuff and all kinds of crazy shit about experimenting on people with drugs and being able to see into alternate dimensions and these weird paranormal things that come through these dimensions that want to like live inside your skin and stuff and take your body. That came out about 4 or 5 years ago. You can find it easily. I think that's definitely one of like Bloody Disgusting Selects or After Dark or something. The Banshee Chapter is super fucking creepy. That scared. That like legit made me jump out of my seat.
Noted. I will
Scary.
check it out. Actually, it seems that Aaron has heard of American Zombie. Super quick synopsis without spoiling it, because I do not want. I want Nate to just watch that one blind and surprised, or at least surprised. It's just zombies live amongst people. There's a film crew that is that, but they're just like, they're just another. They're another group of people. They're a marginalized community of people, and they're man, I really can't say anything. You just have to see it. It's done like a documentary. It's a mockumentary, and it's called American Zombie, and it's about these zombies, like they rot, but they're like they have to like work day jobs just to like pay rent. It's like really weird, but there's some stuff that happens in it that is literally terrifying to me, like terrifying to me. I can't say what it is. It's just like this idea of, I really don't want to say anything. Just go see American Zombie. Paul is mentioning the last broadcast. I have another one actually, and I think Nathan's seen this. This is not only a found footage mockumentary, whatever you want to call it. This to me is one of the most terrifying films ever made. It is a movie that I have taken an oath. I've taken an oath. 2 movies that I will never rewatch again, although I've been morbidly curious to revisit one of them, which is a Serbian film. I saw it when it came out, and I said, I never need to see this movie again. However, morbid curiosity has like, I do want to watch it again, but now that I have children, I don't think I can. Like, I just don't think I could stomach it. I don't think it would.
I've seen it a couple times. Apparently that's like taboo to say that you've watched a Serbian film more than once. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times.
Is it really taboo?
Yeah, like you can't even say that you watched that. Some people will just judge you. Apparently,
I watched it the moment it came out, because I used to be on the quest to see the most extreme of everything. And
to me, that movie is a comedy. Like it's a very dark comedy.
I think we've had this conversation. You've said this to me before.
If you go into it, how could you watch it? If you go into it thinking it's a dark black comedy, then I think it's different. It plays different, because we all know the scenes that we're talking about. The 2 scenes,
there's
the one
a lot
scene,
of them. There's a bunch of them for me.
The scene with the baby.
Newborn porn is like, oh my god, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Fuck.
If you go into that taking that scene super seriously, like, of course you're going to be offended. But if you take it as like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen depicted, you just have to take it with a grain of salt. And you have to understand where the director is coming from. And I did some research after I watched it the first time, and he's like, this is basically a breakdown, a satire of Serbian society and how people are treated within this state, within this country. And I did a little bit more reading, and some of his commentary and stuff. I'm like, this makes sense. I get it now. Like this is how fucked up he has to go in order to like show people like how people are debased and dehumanized in his country. And they're just tossed out for the trash. And I think it's also universal to anyone in any society, like how people are just literally, we're just props to like rich people, to powerful people. They don't even see us as like real people.
You know why I'm just like, so like why it guts me, why I just can't, because my brain takes it to this place that somewhere in the annals of human history, at some point, that really had to have happened in some way, shape, or form, because human beings are that fucked up. And that's why.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put past. Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's why it, like, and it just, like, the idea, like the whole concept of what it is, it's just literally the most, like, it's the most devastating thing I can think of. So that's where I guess that's my point of view on it. And that's why, like, again, being a father, it just makes it harder. And the second movie, the movie I wanted to say in the first place, which again, I just don't know if I could watch it again. It really gutted me when I saw it. And people, like, I almost feel embarrassed to say that, because some people think that the performances are so bad that, like, that they can't take the movie seriously. This movie is not based on a true story, but it is based on 4 actual real cases that happened. And that's the, like, this is like the type of stuff that happens.
Megan is missing.
Yep. Megan is missing, man. Which is, to me, just like, I mean, like, one of the most, just the darkest of the dark, man. And you want to know what it is? Like, obviously the ending is really dark, but there's something that happens before that. There's 2 really disturbing scenes. There's the ending, spoilers. I did a whole 140-minute podcast about this movie, by the way.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like, just talking about my feelings and just, like, true crime and all this stuff. The ending is brutal, obviously. That there's, hands down, anybody would say it, but there's something that's even more, like, disturbing. We see a single image after Megan goes missing of where Megan ends up, and the look of terror on her face. And then the after, like, what happened to her after decomposing in a barrel, that 1-2 punch is burned into my mind. And, like, I almost, like, want to show, like, 7th graders this movie and be like, don't ever go on the internet. Like, this is what can happen on the internet. And, like, not do that, because that would be really crazy and insane. But, like, just thinking, like, this could be a good teaching tool, like a good parable about, like, the dangers of the internet.
I think that's why the guy made it, isn't it?
Yes. And they wanted to do a sequel or, like, a continuation. He won't do it. He's not interested. So
I watched one that was like Megan is Missing. It was called The Den, and it was one that takes place completely on a computer. It was one of the first ones, and it's just someone investigating, like, dark web stuff. It's really disturbing. It's called The Den. It's a very low budget film.
Den.
It was really
The Den. Yes, I've heard of The Den.
Yeah.
Did you think so? Are you one of those? Which camp do you fall into? Are you in the Megan is Missing is laughable, or do you think it's brutal?
That imagery
is somewhere
is
in between.
I think the imagery is disturbing, especially at the end. Like, that shit is scary. That
Fuck,
I can't
dude.
get her. I can't. It's like The Ring. That chick's face in The Ring. When they find her in the closet, it's the same thing. Like, I can't. It's really disturbing. Like,
not even the stuff that happens. Not even the very end. Not even the last, like, unbroken shot. Just when they find her in the barrel. Just that image of her white eyeballs. Holy shit. That's the type of shit that scares me. I'm not scared by ghosts. I'm not scared by exorcisms. Putting a girl in a fucking blue barrel with her dead, decomposing best friend and then burying her alive. That fucks me up, man. That fucks me up.
I mean, it's scary. It's pretty scary.
It's
Absolutely.
that's some scary shit. Your last moments alive are smelling the decomposing corpse of your friend who went missing. Holy shit. You're, like, cognitively aware that you are being digested by the ground. My God.
Yeah, that movie it depends. Like, there was this whole thing on TikTok, I guess. It's funny
it went
when
viral again.
I'm not a gatekeeper by any means, but I do think it's amusing when young people discover things that we've known about all along. And they're like, oh my God, Megan is missing. It's crazy. There was, like, this whole thing going on social media about people discovering Megan is missing. And I'm just like, okay, I'm glad that you're finding this stuff out, but it comes from such, like, this literal sense. A lot of young people take things literally nowadays.
Yeah.
This movie, I'm just like, it's a horror movie. Like, chill out.
Kind of, you know what it is? It's kind of like it's kind of like Metallica and Stranger Things. You know, there's been this whole reaction to kids discovering Metallica through Stranger Things too. Like, I don't know. That was like
absolutely, and that's cool.
controversy.
And Kate Bush, I love Kate Bush. I've loved her for a long time, and so people want to discover Kate Bush and find out her discography. That's more power to them. I think that's awesome. And people that are shitty about that. Oh, you can't listen to Kate Bush. You haven't been a fan for 20 years. You don't care about her. I'm just like, how did you find out about her? You know what I mean? Like, where were you? 30 years ago when you weren't listening to Kate Bush?
We have this in the Misfits world, man. If someone is wearing a Misfits shirt, and or just in general in punk rock or whatever, you walk up to someone, name 3 songs by that band. Like, it's just so stupid or shitty. Or it's like, if someone is not aware that band, that shirt is actually the logo from a band, like you could either present yourself as the most sophomoric asshole in the world, or you could just say, oh, well, that's actually a band and they're really fucking awesome and you should check out this album and I think you'd really like it.
Here's some really good songs you should listen to.
That's it, man. That's all you got to say.
Instead of being like, oh, you don't even know who Metallica is. Like,
guess what? I was at the mall and I saw this girl and she was wearing a Misfit shirt. And I was like, who do you like better, Graves or Danzig? And she was like, I didn't even know this is a band. And I was like, ugh. It's so stupid, man.
Gives a shit.
But really, who fucking cares, man? Life is too short. It's too short.
Exactly.
So yeah, I guess Megan is Missing would probably be, I guess, on the top of the found footage tier, if you want to call it that. I saw it very late. It came out long time. Came out in like 2008 or something. I didn't watch it for 6, 7, 8 years. Never interested me. And then I kept seeing it pop up on the most disturbing movies ever lists. I'm going, what's so disturbing about this movie? I don't get it. What's disturbing? And then you watch it and you find out.
You're like, oh yeah, okay, I see.
Paul says he saw a new one at the Houston Horror Festival called The Last Radio Call. He says that's really good and worth to check out. Last Radio
Call. Okay.
There's found footage 3D as well that I've never seen, but a lot of people seem to enjoy that one.
It was a funny story. I liked it, but I saw it at Nightmares Film Festival, and
it played at Nightmares. That's right.
Yeah, we were there, and I saw it, and it was on a big screen, and it's very shaky cam, and it's also 3D. So I had 3D glasses on in a huge theater, and the camera's going all over the place. I had such a splitting headache after that movie was over. It's a good movie. I just would not recommend watching it in 3D because it's not.
I get headaches from 3D in general. I can't stand. I'm not a fan of 3D to begin with. But that is actually, you just touched on one of the things that also kind of turns me off a little bit. Just the genre of found footage is the shaky camera aspect. Like, if you're going to do found footage, I understand that you have to make it a little shaky, but like, there are so many found footage movies. There was that one with the vampire Affliction, I think it's called, the vampire guy. Like, it was just so shaky.
It was all right. That one gets a lot of praise. I thought it was okay.
It was okay.
I keep seeing that on lists everywhere. It's very well made. It's very polished. For a found footage film.
Polished.
I just wasn't into it. I like something that's a little bit rougher around the edges. You know what I mean?
I mean, the problem with found footage, or at least the challenge, I'm not going to say it's a problem, it's a challenge. The challenge with found footage is twofold. One, a reason why you have to keep the camera on. And two, a really good hook. And generally, when you have a sense of danger, you turn off a camera. So you really have to overcome that suspension of disbelief in order to be effective.
For me, it can be budget. Like, if you put too much money into a found footage movie, it's not believable anymore. Good point. It looks too polished. It looks too expensive. So there's definitely a limit to your budget. That's why found footage movies are so easy to make I say easy, but are so doable on a low budget, because you just need a committed group of performers, actors that can make it believable, a good cameraman and good direction. And that's it. Like, you don't need a ton of other stuff. So
I'll tell you,
I don't know.
I'll tell you, you know how you solve the first problem? Here's the first problem. Ready? Here's the first problem solved. Paul says, Cam, we forgot to mention Record. Fucking REC, man. I mean,
my God, Record 1 and 2 are two of the best horror movies ever made.
I mean, that one's fucking huge. People love that one.
Yes.
here's how you overcome the first problem, I think. Why do you not turn off the camera? Here's the answer. Ready? It has to be a diary. Because when someone is doing a diary, they are doing everything not to turn off the camera, no matter what is happening. They are documenting, they are striving to document in light of whatever obstacle they are trying to overcome. So if you do it in the form of some sort of diary, diaries can transcend all sorts of disasters. They can transcend all sorts of like deathly scenarios, because especially if it's someone who's feeling doomed, because then they're documenting their last moments and they want people to know what happened to them and see what happened to them. So a diary is a really good vehicle for found footage, I think, personally.
Mm-hmm. Well, also there's also the conceit of you're either on board or you're not. You know what I mean? Like
that too.
For example, like pro wrestling.
Paul.
Some people, some people love pro wrestling, and you have to have your suspension of belief. You know, you have to have that.
Right.
If the very notion of pro wrestling makes, if it makes you laugh, then it's not made for you. So there's going to be people that no matter how good the found footage film is, they're just going to be like, well, why are they holding the camera? But if you're into the genre, you kind of have to suspend your belief and go with it. And because they're showing you things that you're really not supposed to be seeing while they're shooting. So scary stuff, creepy stuff, whatever. So there's a bit of just going along for it, for the sake of going along to get along. You know what I mean?
What's a great one? It's it was really good, actually. Army of Frankensteins. I like that one.
See, the problem I had with that movie is what you were talking about. They're shooting.
I know. I'm
they're
16
shooting in the 40s, and they have sound synced and everything. And I'm just
I know.
There's no way. Like, that's one of the ones that took me out of it. If it had just been a regular movie, I'd love that movie. It'd be one of my favorite movies of all time.
I love how we just crossed over to each side of our fences. I just said, I was like, yeah, that's good. There's no reason why for them to keep rolling. But you were like, oh, that took me out because of the thing, even though you just said you had to go with it. So
you're right.
I guess
our humans are walking contradictions.
Oh no, yeah, we both are contradictory, but like that's okay. Like that makes, but it's like none of these are hard rules. And Paul mentions Diary of the Dead. Yes, George Romero himself made a found footage film, which is crazy when you think about
Diary of the Dead. You know what? Diary of the Dead is not bad when you compare it to Survival of the Dead, which is
haven't seen Diary since it came out or Survival, and I'm due for a revisit. And the reason why I never have is because it just makes me so sad that that's how Jorge went out. He went out with a whimper. Yeah. It just sucks.
He did Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead.
Yeah, just when he should have. I was so sick of those dead. Like he should have been making like
other horror films.
Yeah, and he had so many ideas, and he was what a friggin' oh god, I love that man.
Like Bruiser. I mean, Bruiser's not a great film, but it was a good movie. If he had kept going in that direction,
Peter Stormare.
I think he felt that he had to keep making those movies because of a fan base, and those are the only things I guess that producers wanted him to make if he was going to get funding. But it was really sad because he can absolutely do other stuff like The Crazies and it would have been really cool to see an original horror film from Romero as his last film.
Paul mentions One Cut of the Dead, and I'm going to get a lot of slack for this.
I love One Cut of the Dead. I just never got it. When people were like, I don't get it. I'm like, it's one of that reveal halfway through the movie is one of the best reveals of all time for me.
Okay, I respect what it's doing, and I respect it for all the reasons that you just said, but it personally just didn't do anything for me. And I was it's
such a love letter to independent cinema. Really
and of course, as a fucking filmmaker, you would think that it would connect with me on that level. It just didn't. I don't know, man. I just was not, maybe I was going into it with the wrong binoculars. Speaking of documentaries and cinema verite, we lost a independent, no budget DIY filmmaking legend. Even though he's not a filmmaker, he was the Sancho Panza to Mark from American Movies, Don Quixote, and it is Mike what's his face from American Movie passed away
Mike
today.
Shank.
Yeah, Mike Shank. And speaking of what you were just, I guess I was reminded of this because of One Cut of the Dead or whatever. But like, there are two types of people. I just said this on Facebook. There are two types of people in the world. There are those who understand American Movie, and there are those who don't. It's like a touchstone for every independent filmmaker trying to make something, like watching Mark struggle. And all along the way is his friend Mike, his Sancho Panza's loyal friend, because you all have that one loyal friend or somebody who's, I mean, you don't always have that constant, but sometimes you have that constant, and they really are worth their weight in gold for, like,
yes,
Walt Flanagan for Kevin Smith, that kind of guy, the guy who just is always there, your Huckleberry. And it's just sad that Mark lost his Huckleberry today. So a salute to Mike.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Pour a beer out, scratch a lotto ticket, whatever you got to do. Eat a burrito.
Go watch American Movie.
Definitely go watch American Movie. It's 9:30, which means it's closing time here. I think we pretty much, we really covered Deadstream to the best that Deadstream could be covered, apart from doing a beat by beat thing of it. And I really liked, kind of diving into found footage, even though I'm not a big fan, because I've never really had this conversation about found footage before. And I got to tell you, just even thinking about the idea of like trying to approach it from like a diary perspective has given me like, a new lease on, on trying to imagine a story, a hook that's going to just flow right into that. So mental mush, mental food for the brain, which is nice.
Maybe somebody who is demonically possessed, and they're recording their last whatever. I don't know. Maybe like the priest is left, and the exorcism was a failure, and now they're recording their last moments as a human being or something like that.
Oh shit! Like, so basically, what happens after the fucking exorcist? Instead of him,
nobody write that. I'm writing that. Fuck off.
Instead of throwing himself out the window, the priest has taken on the entity, and he goes home, and he is writing a you know what he's doing? He's writing an exorcist Bible. He is writing down all of this like information about that
he's learned, and
right
that now that he's in possession literally of a demon.
Right.
He's writing all this stuff, and he's a race against time before he loses his body forever.
Right. And there's something that he has to do in that race against time that he needs his cognitive well-being for. Maybe it's like his daughter. Oh my God. Okay, this is so fucked up. He has a daughter. He has a young daughter, and he has to try and find a home for her with a family. He's trying to set her up with like a family, because she's gonna like lose his mind, and the mom's out of the picture. Maybe she's dead. Maybe she died in childbirth or something. And so he's got to find a family, struggle with being like for a home for her while dealing with, dealing with his demonic possession and documentation. And of course, he blacks out. And when he blacks out, he does the most fucked up shit. And he wakes up in places that he's not supposed to be. And he has to document everything, because that's the choice he made with God. That's the oath he made to like his God and like to the church and whatnot. I'm going to document everything, no matter how fucked up it is, because I'm trying to give, it's like one of those sacrifices for science, except it's not science, it's theology. How like for the greater good, like when that dude got bombarded, super fucked up in Japan, fell into he got bombarded with like super high doses of radiation, and they knew that he was going to die. He was like terminal. Have you heard this story, Nathan?
No.
This is like, here's another found footage body horror thing. And then I promise we're going to fucking leave right after this. Dude, this is a true story. Go read about this. This is so fucked up. Dude gets exposed to a high level of radiation that is terminal. He is going to die. And the government or the corporation or whoever keeps him alive to document what happens to the human body from such a high dose of radiation. And the dude lasted for like 35 days. And they kept giving him blood transfusions and skin grafts, and his body is falling apart because of the high levels. Like his DNA is breaking down, and they are like documenting everything that's happening to him for the good of science. The guy is gone. I don't even know if he can consent, but they're just like, this is our one opportunity to study the effects of high level radiation on the human body. And he like basically melted into a pile of soup. And it's like, you could do the same thing for an exorcism. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. That's all right. Let's get on that screenplay, Jeff. Let's do it.
All right. I want to thank Nate so much. Listen, you can check him out on all of his links. He's got all those links down below. Check them all out. I'm going to keep reminding him to get a link tree. So that way it's just one shop that's easy to put together. One stop shop for all your, what does he say in Dawn of the Dead? Shit. One stop shop for all your, whatever. It doesn't matter. Peter. It was Peter who said it. And thank you, Paul. Thanks for contributing in the chat. Really appreciate it. Check them all out.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah.
We'll see Nathan again real soon in one form or another. In the meantime, peace, hair grease, all the rest. My father plays dominoes better than your father plays dominoes.